It'll take some getting used to, Josh. It'll take some getting used to. All right. All righty, let's get started here. It is 7 o'clock and time to start the regular meeting of the Hermiston City Council and Urban Renewal Agency. I would ask that all in the audience, please make sure you silence your cell phones and any personal communication devices. At this time, we have a quorum, all members present. Thank you. And at this time, would you please rise with me and we'll do the flag salute. Oh, by the way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And so we begin. Welcome everybody to a new year. With that, our first up on the deal presentations, we have a presentation from Assistant Superintendent Jake Bacon. Sir, welcome.
We're starting the year off well.
Well, yeah, with you, of course.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Just like you, we're back in the swing of things. Kids are running around all over the place, and we have athletic teams going every which direction. But a few of the highlights that we have coming in is just key events. The Hermiston Education Foundation Crab Feed is coming up February 1st, 2025, which I'm still getting used to hitting that 25 mark. So, but that's coming up here pretty quick. And if you want tickets, you can come by the district office and get them. And also members of the board, HEF board, are selling those around. So be on the lookout for those. We are offering again our parent guidance webinars, which is taking place on January 22nd and again on the 30th. Topics that will be discussed this time around for the 22nd will be reasons for school avoidance and angry outbursts. And then topics discussed on the 30th will be learning how to help your child succeed. And both those events will take place at 6 p.m. And you can always sign up online off our district website, or you can go straight to parentguidance.org. So just another great way to sharpen that toolbox that you have in the parenting world. Also coming up this month of January annually is School Board Appreciation Month. So they will recognize school board members. Schools will do the same thing, just like you guys. Wonderful service that they get paid tons of money for. So thank you all for that service. January 20th, there's no school, Martin Luther King Day. And then January 24th is a transition day and IW day for the elementary, which is the end of the semester. So we are jumping into semester 2 right after that. So the school year continues to fly by. We also have immunization exclusion day is approaching, which is annually on February 29th. We'll be ramping up communication out to families to make sure that they're squared away and have the information necessary to make sure the kids meet all the requirements that the state has out for us. And it is that time of year. We've been fortunate so far, but winter weather is approaching. Well, we don't know. Hopefully it's not, but the roads have been good so far. But information that goes out, should we have a delay, just a reminder, Parent Square by 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning, we get that information out to parents. And so Mr. Usher is out driving around and working with our community partners and Midco, checking roads in the morning. So if folks have questions, or you don't for some reason get a phone call out there, check our website, social media event or social media outlets, and information will be posted on there. That's what's going on. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. I do not off the top of my head. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah.
Hi.
Now the pressure's on. Yeah. Thanks, Byron.
Mr. Bacon, you mentioned exclusion day. I believe you meant to say February 19th,
What did I say?
29th.
I apologize. Yes, it is the 19th.
I was gonna ask if it was only once every 4 years, but
Yeah,
I didn't wanna-
yeah, no, no.
Okay, so good, lots of good information there. Appreciate it. Crab feed, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, webinars, all sorts of information out there available. Keep in touch with your school board and the schools, and I appreciate you coming in and giving us the info, sir.
Well, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Take care. Oh, Roy, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Not really a question. I was just gonna also just recognize the unified basketball team that played, and so I thought that was a really cool thing. On my way to council, I saw that, and so I just wanted to thank you for providing the students that opportunity and for the high school community to really rally around that. So,
Were you able to be in there and watch a little bit?
no, unfortunately.
Oh my heavens, you want to talk about a special afternoon. So at 4 o'clock today, and I apologize for not putting this on the list of topics to discuss, but at 4 o'clock, we had our first home unified basketball, which is our students with rather physical disabilities or other challenges have a basketball team, and there's a league that they play within. So it's focused on inclusivity, and we got it going today. We had a student section that was full all the way from the baseline all the way to the top of the bleachers, cheering. The kids were out there shooting baskets, and both teams were cheering for each other. It was a really neat experience. Check our website also because we have got some more dates. I don't remember off the top of my head. I know we've got some towards the end of the month. There'll be home events, but it is well worth your time to be able to go and watch and enjoy. So thank you, Roy, for bringing that up.
Excellent.
I'd just like to say that I was able to attend the unified game and it was a great time. I haven't had that much fun at a sporting event in ages, so I would highly encourage everybody to go. It was heartwarming and I just had a smile on my face the whole time.
Excellent. Any others? Okay. Now is time for our citizen input on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to bring anything before the council that is not on the agenda is asked to please do the following. Limit your comments to not more than 5 minutes. State your name and address and direct your comments to me.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Caleb Jacobs, and my address is 990 West Juniper Avenue, number 63. I was hoping to talk about senior citizen discounts for the taxi service in town
Okay,
and see if that'd be possible. So,
we have a program that does take care of that.
well, I know, like, I'm talking about like for the regular taxi fare. I didn't know if that was possible.
Again, we do have that is done. There is a discount
Oh,
that is available.
okay.
They can buy, there's a program that if they get a hold of the city, that they can buy discounted tickets
Oh, okay.
for rides on the taxi service. And we also have a free bus service.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure to ask, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any others? Please.
Hello, my name's Dave Gracia. My address is 966 Southwest Coyote Avenue here in Hermiston. I'm just here, I'm the president of the Hermiston Cultural Awareness Coalition. And every year we have our MLK March and our event, and we're gonna have it on the 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In fact, you're gonna be there.
Sam?
And Byron, please don't wear your BYU hat. But anyway, we have Dennis Burke. He's going to speak a bit. He was at the march. Actually, he was 15 years old. And he's got some reflection on that. And then Don Rome, is going to be our keynote speaker. We're going to have the excellent high school jazz band. They've been there the last couple of years, and Sean is a neighbor of mine, and he's done a really great job. We love having him participate in. Then we have 4 scholarship that we're handing out, 4 scholarships, and they will speak also. And our march will be involved in that 2-hour period too. There will be refreshments. Rogers Toyota, uh, they help us every year. They're a very good part of the community, and they do a lot for us. And I'm sure other people in the community too. But they're going to provide refreshments and snacks and sandwiches and stuff. I can't think of anything else. I hope we have good weather. I don't know if we will or not. If there's any questions about this?
Will it be inside City Hall, you know, where it gets done?
Yes, we're gonna set up right here. The band sets up right here. And then, weather providing, we'll have the march. Last year we canceled it because it was so cold. And it looks like a pretty cold day coming up is what it's calling for, but, love to see you all here. You know, it's a great event. And we want to thank City Hall for providing that. Lily is very, very accommodating and, sets everything up. We appreciate it. That's all I've got. No other questions?
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, there's on January 20th from 11 to
Yes.
1,
Yes, 11 a.m. to
starting
1.
out right here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and then everything will be here except the march, obviously. We're gonna go down to Main Street and go down to 4th. I've talked to the police department and about getting that set up and then back down to the building here. So,
Excellent.
yeah, we look forward to that. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Forward to seeing you there and everybody else as well.
Okay, great. I got flyers here, so I'll leave some up.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
So much. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none. Move on to agenda item number 6, the consent agenda. We have 2 items, A and B. Do we have any council comments on consent agenda items A and B? Are there any items that need to be removed? Is there any public comment on consent agenda items A and B? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A and B?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Barone and seconded by Counselor Barone. Oh, names are going away from me these days. Okay, can I get a roll call?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And passes unanimously without me being able to vote.
That weird?
That is exceedingly weird. That is probably going to be the hardest thing for me to deal with.
You can do it. We're just
I am sure. Okay.
Quick, half of you vote no next time.
Let's not make this easy. Items removed, none. Resolutions. Resolution number 2351, Agape House Community Development Block Grant Project Signer. City Manager Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, early in 2024, the city agreed to sponsor a grant or write an application for a Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, on behalf of the Agape House for some additional storage on their campus. And we were awarded that grant, and so we're starting on the implementation. We've hired Ducote Consulting. They're based in LeGrand as our grant administrator. These grants have a lot of detailed paperwork, and Ducote Consulting has done a number of these for cities in our area as well as others. And what we are asking for tonight, because of all the different paperwork and things, the federal government often, their default is that the mayor signs, the chief elected official signs all the documents. What we're asking is a resolution so that I can sign those documents so we can continue to keep the paperwork moving. I'm just a little more available the mayor is at this point. So that's what the resolution is, and be happy to answer any questions.
Is there any council comment? Ms. Lynn?
I have a question. Are you saying that you will be signing in lieu of the mayor signing, or only when he isn't available
No,
signing?
in lieu of the mayor signing is
So he
what-
won't be signing at all? He won't need to sign?
correct. If you adopt this resolution. If you don't, then we would need to have him sign all the documents.
So in the,
Go ahead. Continue.
so in the past, the mayor has always signed this?
No, no,
Well, who
we've
was
all-
signing it?
The last, we haven't had a lot of these CDBG grants. And so in the last one was actually the Harkenrider Center construction. And we did the same thing. We requested that the council give me authorization to sign the paperwork, just because there's a lot more than a traditional process would have. And so just being able to sign those and keep the process moving. That's all we're asking. We're not trying to hide anything.
No, I wasn't trying to say he was hiding anything. I was just trying to figure out if the mayor was signing the papers before. I thought, what I was thinking was he signed it as well as you signed. But what you're saying is that in the past, that has not happened. You've always been, or whoever was in your position has always been the one that has signed in the past.
That's correct.
Okay. I just wanted to get a clear understanding of that. Oh, one other thing, I do have something. So
Let's see if anybody else has any other.
Okay.
Councilor Roberts?
I just kind of wonder if the mayor's okay with that, since it's really his responsibility at this point. Do you have any objection to that?
I don't. As the city manager pointed out, under these circumstances, this is going to have some fast-moving stuff and a lot of issues that may require. So it's going to be easier, I think, to have the city manager do that type of thing. And I'm sure he'll be advising me of any time that he's doing that, so. Any other? All right, Ms. Linton?
No.
Okay. Okay, public comment. Anybody have any public comment in regarding to Resolution 2351? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt Resolution
Motion to adopt.
2351?
Motion.
So moved. You say so moved.
Oh,
You say so moved.
so moved. Sorry.
You okay?
I'm
Your
new to
motion-
this.
okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Counselor Hayward, seconded by Counselor Meyer. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 All right, motion passes 8-0. Next, Resolution 2352, ODOT ADA curb ramp IGA agreement. It's kind of redundant, right?
It's IGA amendment. That's what
Amendment.
the
Amendment, yes, so it's
Yeah.
not redundant.
So, Mr. Morgan, please.
Yeah, so this is an amendment to an IGA that the council actually approved back in 2018. So this is our House Bill 2017, $4.5 million, or excuse me, I'm jumping ahead. This is an amendment to our IGA that was approved by the council last year. This is ODOT goes through and is replacing all of the ADA curb ramps through town, mainly along their state highway corridors. They're making a couple of changes to some of the references to the different roadways. Really, we caught some language in there that was referring to some curb ramps up in Umatilla along Highway 730. And then additionally, they're changing the total project cost. You'll see it's a significant cost increase, but all of the costs are borne entirely by ODOT. They just feel that cities need to have IGAs in place with ODOT when they go through and they do these major projects. And so that's why we even have an IGA in place with them. So no major issues here. It's really just changing the name of some of the streets and then just recognizing the fact that their costs have gone up significantly now that they actually have the project bid and should be starting construction here this year.
Okay, any council comments regarding Resolution 2352? Any public comment regarding this? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 2352 and lay upon the record?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Everybody, and then Mr. On. I'll pick Counselor McCarthy as making the motion since he was closest. Because the sound got here first. Okay, roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Outstanding. Next, under the other category, let's see. Council rules overview. City Manager Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, because we just recently went through and kind of redid a lot of our rules and we have 3 new counselors, I just wanted to take a little time this first meeting to kind of hit the highlights, maybe talk about a few items that often get, or just maybe points of emphasis that we want to make sure. And so if you have, there's a link in your packet to the full council rules. And then if we want to have any further discussion, we can either do it more tonight or we can bring it back on any specific topic. So just kind of overall, kind of an introduction, we're going to kind of look at the overall governance that's set up by our documents, take a look at meeting related items, including then presiding officer, overall roles, then meeting decorum, and then voting, and then just a few miscellaneous items. So the city, the first kind of tier in our governing documents is the charter that's adopted by the citizens. And then under that are all the city ordinances in the code. And those are adopted by the council with a kind of a strict process, 2 readings, different things like that. Then the rules are adopted by resolution. And underneath those are some rules of order. This time we adopted a different set than has been done in the past. They're called Rosenbergs, and those are available on the website. So just as a basic overview, we're only required to meet once a month, but we have regularly scheduled meetings on the 2nd and 4th Mondays. It's set up to standard time, 7 to 10. But that can be extended at hour increments. But we set it up to try to encourage not having late night meetings because generally maybe not as good decisions are made in those later nights. Quorum is 5 members, and even though the mayor votes only in a tie, the mayor does count towards a quorum if we're looking for a quorum in a meeting. We have work sessions. Usually they're the hour before, taking on different topics, maybe in more detail. Executive sessions, those are allowed for only certain topics, and they're spelled out in the state statute. And the one thing I wanted to kind of highlight out of that, with kind of the new media, which, we almost really don't have a local newspaper anymore. And so anybody who puts up a blog can sometimes consider themselves media. And so the council rules this time, we set out a process that someone can kind of be certified by the city as a media organization. And so that we haven't had that issue so much in our city, but in some of the other cities around the state, that's been an issue with someone just wanting to kind of attack a certain issue with the city and where it might be in litigation or in different things and just trying to get into the executive session. So that was a major change we made. Then we'll talk a little bit about public meetings in general and then the agenda and then outlined in there is a specified agenda, just like we're going through tonight with all the different items. And that was recently changed. If the council had a different way that they wanted to organize things, that can definitely be looked at. So one of the things that we do that's a little bit different than some of the other cities around us is there's two different times for public comment on the agenda. One is at the beginning, where someone could talk about something that isn't on the agenda, and then we allow public comment on each item where the council makes a decision. Some cities only allow public comment at the beginning or the end of the meeting, so not maybe as relevant to a specific topic. We also now are required to allow electronic comment, and Lily monitors that here on a specific email address. And then public hearings, that's a little bit different than just public comment. And those are specified legal process for land use and budget are the ones that we use mostly. There are a few other times when we might have a public hearing, but those are the two most common topics. We're required to have the minutes, and you had some minutes on here written, but not verbatim. So you're not going to see exactly what was said in the meeting. You're going to see a summary with particularly the actions that were taken were summarized, calling out who voted in what way, those types of things. There's provided in there three types of presiding officers. They have the mayor. The mayor's not available, the council president, and then we do have a process. If both of those are not going to be available at a meeting, there's a process. We just had to use it recently to have a temporary chair run the meeting. So those are provided for. So just as the roles between, it kind of talks a little bit about the roles of elected versus appointed officials. I really want to highlight that all of that is that everybody there is working for the good of the city. We each have a different role to play, different things to take care of. All of us are required to be professional and act with decorum. There's some guidelines in there. The public's also required to show some decorum and follow those rules as well. And then there's a section in there about interactions with staff. And I think I've talked to especially the new people recently just about how that goes. And if you have questions specific for department heads, please reach out and talk to them. They're going to let me know that I've talked to them or whatever, but that's just so, because I'm the one ultimately responsible, that it's just a good thing for me to know what you're interested in, what you're talking about. So, voting, if you're here, you are expected to vote on an issue unless there's a conflict of interest or something, and then you would be removing yourself from the dais, so you wouldn't be technically there. They're recorded by name unless it's unanimous, and the mayor gets to vote when it's a tie. And I think in 12 years, Dave did it 4 times or something like that. So then just a few miscellaneous things to highlight. It talks a little bit about council committees. There's a lot more detail about those in the ordinances and specific membership and those things. Another item I wanted to highlight is just statements to the media or other organizations. Unless the council has voted and designated someone to go talk to the media, only basically that action gives them the authority to say what the city says on a topic. You can talk to the media and give your opinion, but it needs to be clear that it's your opinion. And same kind of guidance for a Facebook page or some other way that you're speaking to the public. We talk about that a little bit just because our insurance company highlights that a little bit about not wanting people to get out ahead of the rest of the body. And then the last thing, I just thought this was a good way to think about the things that you guys do as leaders in our community. The last page of the council rules is some guidelines about servant leadership. Just saying, I will never forget, it's not about me and it's not about now. So a lot of the decisions you make aren't going to be for immediate. They're for thinking about the long term in the community. And sometimes that's hard. It's hard to kind of get past the right now for later. So those are just some things I wanted to highlight. If there's any questions or any discussion, be happy to do that. Other than I'm open to that.
Ms. Meyer.
On the specified agenda items, now those have to be cleared prior to the meeting, correct?
Right, I did mean to say there is a process in there. The charter and the ordinances give the city manager the agenda setting, majority of the agenda setting. There is provision in there for the mayor and how the councilors would get something on the agenda. And that is in like the council comments section, you bring up an item and ask the rest of the group if there's an interest. If there's a majority interest in bringing it to a future agenda, then we would move that forward. That way, from a staff standpoint, we work for all of you as a group and not for individuals. And so that's a way that we can make sure that we're doing the work for a majority of the group.
Any other comments? Let's see, there was.
No action to be taken.
So, and so no other council comments, any public comment on that? Seeing none, no action is being required or requested, so this is just for information only, everybody. If there is, if in the future, if we look at, as we look at these rules, if there's something about the rules that you think needs to be changed, this is something that we can discuss. The rules are written in firm jello. They're not written in stone. So, if there's something that we see as needing changed, it's incumbent upon us to bring those forward, and we will discuss it, and if necessary, change it or modify it, update it, make it our own. These rules were set during the last council session, and so with having us some new faces on here, we also have new eyes at looking at these type of things. So if you look at these rules and you see something, or you have questions on regards to them, reach out to either myself or one of the other counselors that's been on the council for a bit, to if you have an idea, or you have questions on why maybe something is the way that it is. So with that, we'll move on to the next thing, the council goal update. City
Yeah,
manager.
so this is going to test your vision.
Yeah, I can't see it.
So each year, the council and the staff gather together to talk about priorities for the city. And what I want to do tonight is just kind of go through last year's goals, talk about where we're at on those as we get ready in a couple weeks to come together and have that session again. And so, I think most of you now have talked to our facilitator. We're starting to kind of finalize the agenda for that time. So the first goal is examine the expansion of the urban growth boundary for commercial and industrial land. We're in the process of that. Just during 2024, the council adopted one of the first documents, which is our economic needs analysis, saying that there's a need for certain types of land that aren't necessarily available, and we'll be bringing more of those types of things forward as we go through 2025. We have foster collaborative partnerships for workforce training and development. So we've been having conversations with Blue Mountain Community College. They're kind of a lead agency as far as government goes for workforce development. So we're working with them to see if there's some things that we can do to encourage any specific programs. They're really good to work with when we bring economic development prospects in, and that they're willing to work on specific training programs, things like that. And they've done a lot with AWS on a variety of programs. The next one, evaluate retail business mix and pursue areas of need. It was just in the fall of this year, we had presentation from consultants that we work with, Retail Strategies. And, you know, they shared with you that there are various national retailers looking at making locations here. But they also highlighted that a lot of those take a long time. And so we're continuing to work with them, particularly as we've had a number of bankruptcies, different things that have shut down some of the stores in town. So they're aware of those and are working to help us bring some other stores to fill those. Then the next one under transportation, complete our transportation system plan. And we've selected a consultant, and we're just starting that process. We've received some grant funding from the state to pay for that, so we're starting work on that. Safe Streets for All Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. This is completed. It was adopted by the council in the latter part of 2024, and that, you know, kind of pointed out some areas where we could make some improvements to improve safety on various streets, intersections. And so we actually have had a meeting looking to see if we can, there's some federal funding for implementation of those plans. So we're looking at how to make making an application for some of that funding that we can bring before the council. Then attract market rate rental housing developments to increase middle housing inventory. So we've had a number of conversations with multifamily developers. We actually have someone who just called us last week that would like to have a meeting. So we're continuing to see what we can do to encourage the market rate development of some multifamily. And we also, this goal doesn't necessarily call out for other types, but we've been working, Councilor Linton has been particularly putting a lot of work into trying to find some senior housing development on that side as well. So we continue to look for that multifamily. That's something we've been struggling with, I think, for a number of years, of any type, just trying to get some multifamily to develop here. Then the next one, continue to fund infrastructure improvements to support new housing and enhance livability. Again, we're always looking for infrastructure projects that try to, as a kind of a incentive to development, where we can do some things that better the whole city and better the system, but that make it better for development. Our best example of this is the water tower in the northeast part of the city in partnership with the county that has really encouraged a lot of new housing going up in that quadrant of the city, along with the new school development and so forth. So, and that's our kind of, we're using the goal areas that come out of the 2040 vision plan. That's the growing and prosperous. Is there any questions or discussion about those, that area?
Any questions?
Okay. Then the next one is safe and healthy. The first one is update feasibility analysis of health, wellness, and aquatic center. And the next two items also relate to that. And just want to give the council an update. We've had 2 of our task force meetings. We have another one planned this week, and had a lot of good discussions with the partners that have come. That's representatives from the West End communities, from Umatilla County, from the hospital, from the school district. Others are participating in those meetings with us. The plan, we've extended the timeline that we presented to the council a few months ago by about a month, but in the spring we have scheduled a kind of a public outreach period, try to do some community engagement to get the public's feedback on the things that the task force has done, and then take that back. The task force will kind of chew on that and wrap it into the recommendations that they bring to me, and then ultimately have a conversation with the council about that. The next area, public safety. So we evaluate and possibly implement the red light photo enforcement along 395. We're completing the engineering study that we have to to go talk to ODOT about that because that's what they require if you're going to put any red light type of a device on their highway. They have to have some traffic engineering stuff prepared. So we're just completing that, ready to start on the next step and having further conversations. Then develop plan to increase police officer staffing. We did make some moves on that with the last budget. And then also we hope in the next month to bring the agreement with Good Shepherd Healthcare System for the additional officers that they are interested in funding to provide some additional coverage on their campus. So we're moving forward with that. This really ties into one of our other items, but I'll stop there if there's any questions on any of that area.
Seeing none.
Okay.
On a roll, sir.
Sustainable is the next area. The first one is conduct public engagement to identify use scenarios, evaluate all options, and finalize plan for the Carnegie Building. We haven't started that. There is an item that we'll talk about tonight that I think would contribute to that. So hopefully that can start. We anticipate vacating that building in the fall of this year as the library moves their services back into the main building. And then from the city standpoint, we don't have an active use of the Carnegie Building going forward from there. So then I think it'll be good timing to have a conversation with the community about what they're interested in. So the next two are complete the public library renovation and the public safety renovation. Those are both under construction. Hopefully by the end of this year, on the library and probably touching more closely to the first of 2026 for the public safety center, but we're moving forward. The next one is kind of on fiscal, and in the fiscal area, evaluate and update internal financial policies and procedures. We've already done a number of those internal. We're also going to be working with Mr. Palacios on the next item, and as well on just checking in on all of our policies, but particularly a 5-year projection plan that we would be kind of using to help us kind of do a better job of looking out how do decisions today impact, a little longer time horizon than we have been in the past. So we're working on that to bring back to the council. And then the final item in this sustainability area is finalize a water allocation for EOTech. We've been having some conversations. We aren't able to kind of move all the way forward. Some of it relies on some work we're doing at the airport. And so we're hoping that will move forward in this calendar year. That will then help us have a better picture of how we can get irrigation water to EOTech in a sustainable, have a long-term source that we don't currently have. That's the sustainable area. Any questions in that? And then connected and engaged. So engage with education partners to develop and implement youth engagement plan to increase understanding of and involvement with the city. So we've been working on with the high school. We over the summer worked on some internships and even into the school year. I know Parks and Rec has utilized some interns from the high school to assist them. And then I've been engaged with the civics teachers at the high school to try to bring some local government into their civics class that they teach to all the seniors. And so we still haven't finalized that, but working on that. And then an item I didn't put in the list is the City Day at the Capitol that we're heading down to. The league is putting on a youth advisor portion of that, and so there'll be a portion of that day. There'll be, I think, 7 high school students coming with us. I don't know if the ones that are here are going to come necessarily, but They're planning to come, and the district's being very supportive. They're going to provide transportation for them to come down and participate in those things, get to interact with some students from the other cities that'll be there. So excited about that, helping them to get a picture of how we operate in conjunction with the state. Evaluate and implement communication best practices and tools to improve connection with the community. We're continuing to kind of look at different options. We've been having some internal discussions. Also implemented some changes to how we're communicating with our staff, as they are I think they're a huge voice into the community that we can use. If we get them better information, they can be a good source for answers. And then this week on Thursday, we'll have in our second city chat. Hopefully, we'll get a few more people to come to that. And then finally, develop and implement a formalized community service award program to recognize community members and employees. We have not started on that item yet, so be happy to answer any other questions.
No, nobody? Roy?
Nope. I'll probably reserve a majority of the questions for goal setting, but I was just curious on the housing. How many permits did we assign this last year?
87.
Okay. Still pretty good.
And that's kind of a mid-range. You know, we've had years above 100, but that's a good solid number for us.
Agreed. Thank you.
Was that just for single family dwellings, or does that include like duplexes and such as well as one?
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, mainly that's for single family. We had a handful of single family detached stick-built homes. We had a handful of manufactured homes built, but then several duplex units constructed as well. So about 70 detached single family homes.
Have we had anybody interested or participating in the ADU, accessory dwelling units? Have we had anybody stepping into those?
We are permitting right around 5 a year right now. So surprisingly, yes, we are getting quite a few.
Okay, great. Putting somebody in a place to live. That's what we want to do. Any other comments, questions from the council on that? What about public? Any public comment on council goals as presented by city manager? Seeing none, and again, this is being presented as information only, so no action is being requested. Next up, Hermiston Civic Leadership Academy. Mr. City Manager.
We did our inaugural year last year with a Civic Leadership Academy. And the goal of that program is just to really develop community leaders, trying to encourage people to be involved and understand what the city does, how that they can be a leader within the community. Isn't it? No. Okay, sorry. So this program was developed, there we go, in conjunction with Portland State. And so they were the ones that developed the curriculum and came and helped teach. And it was partially funded by the Ford Family Foundation. And both of those were for 2 years, the agreements. So we're coming into our second year of that. And as we were looking at the topic this time, some council members expressed some desire to participate in kind of what that topic was. And so staff has come up with 3 possibilities that we felt would be good for this group to talk about, and then we have a recommendation. But the first is related to the Carnegie discussion that I talked about having that group help set up a process of how we would talk about that as a community, what kind of have them help determine the stakeholders and how to engage with the public on that. The second one was to kind of evaluate our current volunteering system and see if there was any enhancements, things that we could do to make changes. And then the third one was kind of looking, the traditional neighborhood watch has kind of gone by the wayside. So having a group maybe go and see what other options are out there and see if that could, something that we could find to make a change. My recommendation is that we use the one related to the Carnegie Building as we, come to a time when we need to, we need to figure out what we're going to do with one of our really a few historic buildings. It was built in the 1910s, the first part of it, and then the back end was added in the 60s. But I think that would be a great, especially being in our downtown, a way to potentially encourage some additional traffic, additional people coming down here. But I'd be happy to answer any questions or have any comments.
I know that in the past, we've had a couple of both requests and ideas from within council and even in goal setting for use of the Carnegie Building. If that's the direction that the council recommends, do you anticipate that we'll present that to, present some of those options to the group? Because chances are they're probably not going to be aware that those options have come up.
Yeah, we would give them as much background as we could. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Meyer.
Okay, what kind of a mechanism are we, the city, going to put into play here to make sure that, the topic is stuck to? Because last year it was not.
That's why we've recommending the topic we've chosen. I think that it has its own kind of limitations on it.
Yeah.
And so that's really why we're recommending that topic.
Okay, and then, who is going to go and check on this oversight?
Well, we'll have city staff participating as kind of resources to the group as they go through the process.
The title is City Buddies. As
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
they.
Oh, you're gonna be a
That's
city
what-
buddy? Well,
Did last year. Yeah.
okay, then we need to make sure that as this is going along, we're checking on it and it does not come to the end like it did last year.
Correct. And we've also kind of worked with Portland State to try to change up the end of that process so that those city buddies are a little more involved as we get to the end
Okay,
and have some more input into how the end comes.
I just want to make sure that
Yes.
it's not going to come to the end and it's not, these are our grants and dollars that we're spending, and it did not result in what we were after.
Right.
How many people usually sign up for this? Is there a limit?
Portland State recommends between 10 and 12 people who that we kind of admit as participants, but we had, I think, 15 or 16 applicants last year.
Would it be possible if we had that amount of people that sign up for this to split and maybe one group could explore the Carnegie idea? And I would also entertain the possibility of someone looking into the Neighborhood Watch program.
I think under the limitations of the grant and the funding we have available, we don't have the ability to split that. But if we had a large kind of interest, we potentially could do one in the spring and one in the fall when we'd have another budget to go seek some grant funding to continue. But I don't think we could do it both this time.
Ms. Broom.
I just had a question, since this is the second year, about ongoing, I guess, funding, and just to know what's going to happen with this academy. I guess it's a two-part question. One, are we looking to continue the Hermiston Academy or Leadership Academy after this year, or is that just really dependent on funding?
No, I would like to continue it. I have been in conversation with the Ford Family Foundation. They really like this program. They funded it here and in Sisters as trying to take a program that had been successful in Hillsborough and kind of move it into some rural communities. And so they're interested in continuing that, I think, if we are interested. And so I would be seeking their, some funding from them as well. So I think we can push it into the long term.
Awesome. So we were essentially selected, right, to receive some of this funding to jumpstart this program?
Well, I mean, the group at PSU that put together the program and worked on it with Hillsborough had been in conversations with the Ford Family Foundation, and they wanted to move it to rural communities. I had a conversation with the PSU people about the program separate from that, and so they suggested us to the Ford Family Foundation. And so I mean, yes, I guess we were suggested, but it was kind of we were both interested in doing it.
No, that's great. And thank you for, I guess, your leadership in this and wanting to continuing this program to move forward. I found last year's presentation a little fruitful. I know maybe it wasn't exactly what we wanted to hear, but there's a lot of differing opinions out in the community, and so I even had a couple conversations with some of the members that participated in that. So I think it was, for what it was, there was good information that, we could chew on, and I look forward to this year's question and to see what can come of that.
Mr. Kelsel.
I'm curious, Mr. Smith, what the cost of the program is on an annual basis.
It's a total of 25,000. And we receive half of that from the grant.
Okay. What is the bulk of those funds spent on?
It's for the PSU staff to teach it. And one of the things, frankly, that I'm looking into is couldn't we kind of work more with them, but start to have more local kind of instructors, things like that, facilitators.
I've been through a program like that before in a previous community, and we had local instructors. I think it brought a lot to the experience.
Thank you.
Mr. Roberts.
In terms of just the topics, I was leaning, even before I got to the recommendation, the future use of the Carnegie Building, for a couple of reasons. First of all, as far as the neighborhood watch, in my mind, I was thinking it would have to involve the police department to some level, and they're already kind of shaken up with the remodel and stuff. So that might be a good thing for down the road. But for right now, that building is historic. I remember when I was a kid going in there as the library, and then Armin Larvey was using it for a time, and I think anybody that's lived here a long time knows the Carnegie Building, and so it is something that we want to keep around, and so just for the topic, as far as which one we should choose, I was right there with you. So,
Hayward.
If somebody in the community wanted to get involved in this, how would they do that?
We'll be starting to advertise toward the end of this month for participants.
Okay.
It'll be on our website. We'll be putting the word out as broadly as we can.
And it's open to any ages?
I'm sorry?
It's open to any ages?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have anything younger than someone who was an adult, but
I'm just throwing it out there
wouldn't
just
be
so people
opposed to
it's out there.
a high school student participating. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Any others? So, I'm interested to see the council's direction on this one. Me personally, I like the idea of the Carnegie Building, obviously, because it's a resource of our community. It's again a historic building, and I am in agreement with Councilor Roberts in regarding trying to put something else on top of the PD right now with all the stuff they're going on. Although, the volunteer system, creating a volunteer system, it's such a broad topic to try and nail anything down would be difficult. But again, it's definitely something that we need more of is the volunteers in the community. So public comment. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to make any comments in regards to these? Seeing none. Okay, so now we have to figure out which one of these three we want. Can somebody make a motion as to their choice for first choice?
I'd like to move for the Carnegie Building as the direction.
Second.
Who's second? Okay. So a motion has been made for the Carnegie Building by Counselor McCarthy and seconded by Counselor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
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 Well, it looks like you have your marching orders, sir.
Thank you.
Outstanding. I am looking forward to this process. Again, I think narrowing the focus on it is going to create a much more usable palette for us to accomplish what we want. So getting the community involved in that, the use of that building and what it's going to look like in the future is just, to me, is just fantastic. All right, next thing, consider canceling the city council meeting for January 27th, 2025. This one I kind of moved forward or asked for the city manager. Mr. Smith?
Yeah, so right now we have five of you up there signed up to go to the League of Oregon Cities City Day at the Capitol. That event is on the 28th, and it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning in Salem. So it would be possible to have a meeting and then go, but it would be a late night to ready for an early morning the next day. So as the mayor said, he asked that we talk about this. We internally talked a little bit about it. Potentially, canceling the meeting could be a little bit of a challenge from how loading up the next meeting with a lot of items, a lot of work. But we talked about the possibility of potentially, would the council be open to postponing it to Thursday? And then we could take care of the business that we would have for that meeting and still have a great representation. I was disappointed to see how the day at the Capitol lined up with our council meeting, just because I like to have good representation at that meeting and go and seeing our legislators and all of that, but it makes it tough to have the council meeting the night before and then go. So that's what our thoughts were.
Okay, so if everybody wants to check their calendars real quick, I see a lot of phones out and people checking, so.
Are you talking about January 30th?
Is that the Thursday of that week?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't make it.
Okay, so we have one no can do. I believe I'm available, so.
I can do it.
I'm free.
I can do the 30th.
About this side of the room.
I remember when we went to Washington, D.C., Counselor Myers and I called in at midnight.
If I remember right on that one, we were really short on a quorum too.
Yeah, we were. That's why we had to call in.
Yep.
I can as well.
Yeah, that being said, I can do the 30th as well.
So, it appears that we can continue it, or not continue,
To make a motion?
yeah, we'll get there. Yes, so we need either a motion to meet regularly, to reschedule the January 27th meeting to the January 30th, same time, or cancel the meeting altogether. I will entertain a motion as to one of those three.
I make a motion.
Sorry. Go ahead, Jack.
I make a motion that we reschedule the meeting, cancel it for Monday night and reschedule it for that Thursday night at 7 p.m., January 30th.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made to cancel or to reschedule the meeting from January 20th to January 30th.
27th.
The 27th
27th
to the 30th.
I know there's also a Public Infrastructure Committee meeting scheduled on the same Monday that council meeting was supposed to be on. So are those of us that are supposed to be on that committee still going to that meeting and then also coming on Thursday to the regular council meeting, or would we postpone that as well?
We would move the Public Infrastructure Committee meeting as well to the Thursday.
Okay.
Ready to go? Okay. All right, so we have a, to move, to reschedule from the 27th to the 30th at 7. I have a motion and a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Democracy in action. Way to go, guys. All right, next. Next one, elect a council president for 2-year term. Oh, man, I got hands flying up all over the place. Hang on here, let me, okay, so background on it, council president responsibilities include chairing council meetings when the mayor is not present and/or attending and speaking at community events when the mayor is unable to attend. Council nominations will be accepted for president. Nominations are not motions and do not need to be seconded. There will be no discussion or campaigning. Do I have any nominations? Okay, I got Roberts first.
I think Ms.
Okay.
Myers.
I was first.
All right.
He
fine.
was first.
Right, and I would like to nominate Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you.
Okay. So Counselor Myers has nominated Counselor McCarthy. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none.
Nope.
Whoop, whoop. Yes, there we go. Okay.
I'd like to nominate Council.
Okay. Sorry, I'm taking notes here, making sure you get this right. All right, so Councilor Barone has nominated Councilor Duran. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Hearing no other nominations, the nominations are now closed. I will now call for a vote in the order that they were nominated. Each councilor member will vote once for the candidate of their choice. Counselor receiving the most votes will be elected council president. If there is a tie, I will vote to break the tie. Wow. Okay. All those in favor of Counselor McCarthy, raise your hand, please. I have Counselor Hayward, Counselor Roberts, Counselor Meyer, Counselor McCarthy, Counselor Litton, and Counselor Kelso. Okay, and all of those for Counselor Duran, raise your hand. I have Counselor Barone and Counselor Duran. It appears, having received the most votes, Counselor McCarthy has been elected council president through 2026. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And you don't have to change sheets.
Looks like you're gonna make the cripple get up? Okay.
Nope,
Yeah.
not gonna make you do nothing.
He's gonna roll you.
I'm
I'll
gonna
just
take
scoot,
I'm gonna
yeah.
take a day off, I guess. All right, council goals update is done. Next up is committee reports. Do we have any committee reports as of yet? Councilor Roberts.
I had the great pleasure of attending the Airport Advisory Board meeting last week. Unfortunately, they did not have a quorum, so no business was actually conducted, but I did get to speak to Chairman Burns and Mr. Anderson up there. I learned more about the airport in that 1 hour than I ever knew in my life. I did not realize how much our city is tied through commerce and the medical side. I mean, you know that Life Flight's out there and everything, but when it's really broken down to everything that they do out there, it's really quite impressive, and how the FAA funds it, and I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. So for anyone who's not had the chance to get up there and talk to those folks, they love to explain what's going on up there. I'm excited to be part of that committee. So
Very nice. Any other committee report?
I gotta go to the Faith Advisory Committee. It was pretty good to get meet all the pastors in the city and get where their vision is for this year and stuff, and try and get them all get to recognize me.
Very nice. Good organization. Any others? Ms. Drum?
Yes, Counselor Myers and I went to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. We did not have a quorum, so we could not vote on anything, but we were given lots of great information. An update was given, as city manager has already said, on the Health and Wellness Center, or what's it called? Sorry.
The Hawk.
The Hawk. Yes. And the different criteria that the task force has considered for locating the new center. Some of the things that are being considered would be having it by the existing pool, or by Good Shepherd's Oxbow Trail, or Good Shepherd's property on Northeast Elm, or north of Ranch and Home, right across kind of the road from Ranch and Home, or if you recall, the green property where a few years ago, it was being considered for seniors center living facilities. And some of the factors that also will be considered will be the congestion, whether it's within walking distance, bikeability, and if it's, oh, and like city manager said, there will be public input that will be sought out in the month of April, May. And then a recommendation will be coming to the council in June. And since we know that the basement at the senior center has been renovated, there's going to be a ribbon cutting ceremony for that on February 13th, starting at 5:30 p.m., and we have been invited to attend. And then there will be a survey that will be going out for Cimarron Park, and it will go out on social media, and it will be, the schools will be asked if this is something that the students can also participate. If you remember, there was another survey that went out that helped name one of the parks. So another opportunity for the community to get involved would be awesome. And then the committee will get to go through those names and select the winner for the new park. And also we heard about the urban forest management plan, where, which I just thought, which was a great thing for me to sit through, because I often wondered, like, when do they decide, or how do they decide to cut down some trees that maybe to me look dead, but maybe to other people, it seems, oh, it's healthy, or I don't know, it's in the dormant stage, I don't know. But part of that plan is actually doing a public tree inventory. They look at the tree condition, they do an assessment on that. And if they also look at the hazardous, if there's any trees that pose any hazard, I guess, to other trees, and they will be going through that process and looking at maybe the possibility of tree planting. So anyway, that was given. We also discussed the damage that was done to Harrison Park on the night of December 25th. So the next day, they broke the backboard. So the glass that fell on the ground, unfortunately, they moved that to other parts of the playground equipment. And because of that, they had to cordon off the area and not allow the kids to enjoy the playground, because for obvious reasons, the cut glass that was there. And, for that damage, it's going to be about $12,000, the cost for that. It's crazy how a few minutes of what they might have considered having fun turned out to be a big chunk of change. So they're working on getting quotes and getting that replaced for also cameras. If you're thinking, you know, were there any cameras that they could see? But that's what they're looking into, which they had already been considering getting quotes for cameras, but now this situation kind of pushed things along even further now.
We were currently in the process of working on those cameras when this happened. And so the bid came in really high, so they were kind of trying to evaluate that. And at that point in time, that's when all this damage happened.
And then the other thing that was brought was the food pavilion. If you saw that now there's a little shelter there so that people that go enjoy their food, they will have some kind of cover throughout the year. So we appreciate that that was done for the businesses that are there. We also heard an update on the pickleball courts. They, the level and grading is complete now, and they will be fencing and putting the outline concrete. That'll start this week. And the group has done a great job at fundraising. The budget amount was set at $670,000, and they raised $690,000. And I think that's what I have. Did I miss something? Please feel free to add. Okay.
Thank you for that very detailed report. That's great. A lot of good information passed on to all of us. Okay, any other city committees or liaisons? Okay,
Maria had something. Oh,
We have not met yet, or I didn't go to the last Hispanic Advisory Committee, but we just learned through an email that the chair, that had been the chair for a long time, which now we have Alberto, but Jose Garcia has resigned. So just wanted to mention that, and we want to be thankful for the service that he and Mr. Gomolski provided to the group for some years. And now we have a new leadership, and so I hope that the group will continue all the hard work that previous members have done over the years for the group.
yes, I was going to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up. That's great. It's the work that's been being done is fantastic, and Mr. Garcia's and Mr. Kamalski's contributions have been greatly appreciated, and look forward to the new leadership and seeing what takes place from there. Okay, next up, mayor's report.
I have a committee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just wanted to, speaking of talking about the committee vacancies, I just want to remind the Vacancy Review Board, we got an email today. And that also we do have, for those of you still interested in joining a committee, we have vacancies on the Airport Advisory Committee, the Library Board, and the Hispanic Advisory Committee open. So, there you go.
What he said. Okay. Anybody else? Last chance. Moving on. All right, mayor's report. My turn. Several things. One, just a reminder, everybody, that when Lily sends out the packets, make sure you go through those completely, read them, know them, learn them. I'd like, it's incumbent upon us. I was going to bring this up during the rules part, but got a little ahead of ourselves. So, but make sure that we go through those completely so that we have all our questions answered. Then we can, if there's anything that we need to bring up to Mr. Smith, that he would be able to give us a complete answer at that time or during the council session. Next, we had unfortunately a major incident take place over the last couple of days, and where a shooting drive-by type occurred. And I personally want to thank the Hermiston Police Department, Umatilla Police Department, Umatilla County Sheriff's Office, and the U.S. Marshal Service for the hard work that was done in bringing some of the people involved in that, at least some semblance of, I'm gonna say justice because it ain't been had yet, but we're identifying and they're working very hard to solve that case and make sure that it shows the partnership that the different agencies went through to make sure that our streets are kept safe and that we don't have, we can be safe in our homes and in addition to go about our daily business, like sleeping at 2:00 in the morning. Also, I also want to take this moment to thank all of you, members of the council, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you in the future. I thank you for the work that we're about to do. And I would also, as a citizen of this, or as a resident of the city of Hermiston, thank you for stepping forward as a volunteer to help make the city a better place. With having 3 new faces up here, we have the opportunity to put fresh eyes on maybe some old things that have happened in the past or things that are, that need to be addressed and, maybe we're too close to it. Having new eyes look at things can make things work better. So I, again, look forward to all of you and your contributions in the next few years. So aside, and a reminder that we have the community chat on the this Thursday at 7 a.m. and that is at Java Junkies. So
if you're coming, please let us know so we know to avoid a quorum.
How many do we have so far?
Yeah, 2.
2 so far? Okay. Haven't decided whether I want to get up that early or not. I'm real honest. So yeah, that's coming up. What's that?
There'll be coffee.
I don't like coffee.
What?
I don't like
They'll
coffee.
give
I
you
know
a
a cop that
Coke,
doesn't
for
like coffee.
heaven's
It's
sakes.
but I do like donuts, so I balance it out. Okay, so a new addition to our committee reports, we now have a council president's report, and we now have a new council president. So there you are, sir.
Thank you very much. First, I just want to say thank you to the community. Also, thank you to our local hospital and also Eastern Oregon Physical Therapy and also UCFD1. After my accident, I'm recovering well. I can walk on 2 feet. I still use the crutch for any real distance, but I want to thank everybody for the support. I know a number of you reached out to me after that, so thank you very much. I should be fully recovered in a few more weeks is the projection. So there's that. I do want to take advantage of something that was mentioned in the council rules, where a councilor can bring something up for future agenda consideration. There's something that, as part of what I'm passionate about as a councilor, I'd like to bring forward. So I've prepared a little something to say, and then see where that goes from there. Every year in November, our mayor makes a special proclamation declaring the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. During that presentation, we often quote the statistic that for every $100 spent at a local business, $68 stays in the local economy. I believe, additionally to this annual proclamation, we can practically do more to the local business population, but without having to ask our city staff to do much more work to put in. In recent years, the city has made additional partnerships with the Hermiston Chamber of Commerce, such as the reimagined Festival of Lights, which has now become a much larger Land of Lights, truly making Hermiston Eastern Oregon's North Pole, directly increasing local tourism. The Hermiston Chamber of Commerce sat in our ad hoc committee for business license fee considerations, has partnered with Survey Creation for the city, and the director sits in our TRT Funds Committee. Outside of these, the Chamber has several other partnerships with the city and additional asks that we make of them that they help us with that they receive no additional compensation for their time. There is perhaps no other organization in Hermiston that does more for the local business environment than the Hermiston Chamber of Commerce. The city of Hermiston currently makes a small allocation of approximately 5% of our transient room tax funds to the Chamber of Commerce. That number has not changed for many years. Yet when reviewing guidelines for special projects TRT committee, for which the Chamber is a committee member on, perhaps none of these special projects, in my opinion, does more for regular tourism and local business promotion than the Chamber of Commerce. It's my recommendation and request, therefore, that in planning for a new fiscal year, that the city staff increase the allocation of TRT funds to a range, my suggestion, of between 8 to 10%. This would allow the Chamber of Commerce to further invest in programs that it already has underway, such as tourism pamphlets for Hermiston's 14 identified Airbnbs to promote local business, additional marketing for many of Hermiston's unique businesses, which are a draw to many choosing to recreate and live here, and additional events the Chamber would partner with the City/Parks and Rec Department on to increase both tourism and a better quality of life for those of our residents who are always looking for something to do. We'll have to consider a new budget this spring, and I'm requesting, hopefully with council support, that we see an increase in that TRT fund's contribution. Thank you very much.
Is that it?
Well, we need some sort of action for direct city staff, but
Well, then do
we
make
need,
a
we need
motion?
council support before we consider that, correct?
I think we would need to understand what the repercussions of that would be, because even though it sounds really good, there's a possibility because of the way that the percentage is made that maybe others will lose out on their percentages because of compression. And I'm not a professional at all the details, but I think that's the reason why when we raised the TRT the last time, it was only by 1% because that's what we could max out of that. Any more would not bring any more revenue, I guess.
So if I understood what you were saying, you were asking to put this on the agenda at some point in the future to discuss this matter, not for us to.
To discuss and potentially action on for budget considerations.
Okay, so what we would be voting on today is whether to add this to the agenda at a future meeting.
Yep.
Okay,
Do I make a motion to do that?
you sure can.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. I would like to make a motion to add what he said, Councilor McCarthy, to a future agenda. Hopefully, let's say February. Can we?
I think February would be workable,
Okay.
one of the two meetings.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Have a motion by Councilor Litton to put this to add this to the agenda in the future, and it's been seconded by Councilor McCarthy.
I have a question.
I have a question.
I just want to be clear. We're putting this on the agenda to discuss the impact on the
correct.
budget. That's,
It is purely a discussion item, not a,
Yeah, it
at
doesn't
this
have to
point in
come out
time,
of
it's not a
anyway.
numbers.
okay,
Different way.
perfect.
I got a question too. I guess I feel like the most appropriate avenue would be to have a conversation with the city manager. And then if you know that there is going to be something, I guess, fruitful that would come out of it, because I don't want to direct city staff to waste their time if it's not gonna pan out, I guess. So I guess I would want to know from city staff if this is something that's doable, because I don't want to direct city staff to do something that, for lack of a better word, like it just might not go anywhere.
Well, we have a motion. We need to vote on the motion. Is that correct?
Say parliamentarian.
Motion and a second.
And it's
Do we
been
have a motion
second.
and a second?
Yeah.
We still can discuss it though.
Issue there. I would say you leave it to discussion, and then there's no more discussion, go to the vote, and then we have a second motion.
Okay, so let me make sure I want to get us all on the same page here. What we're trying to do is to get this on the agenda to discuss whether or not to push it to city staff to make it work.
Basically
That-
feasibility.
Whether or not it would, whether it's worth moving forward. Is that what you're
That's
asking?
my intention.
Yeah, but if they put it on the agenda, they have to do some research on that. Otherwise, it's.
Well, that's true for anything that we request for that.
Yeah, I know. I guess that's what I'm saying is I just want to make sure that this would actually go somewhere and not direct city staff to.
Well, they need something to do.
Ms. Meyer?
To what avail right now? That's going to have to be a budgetary item, no matter how you look at it. So what good is it going to do for you to do preliminary footwork, which you probably already know most of the answers anyway? I don't see the point.
Okay. Any other comments before we take our vote? So we have a motion and a second to add this to the agenda for discussion at a later date
February.
in February. Okay, roll call.
Wait. Can I
No,
ask something?
no, we're at the, we're at the yes or no part now.
Yes.
No.
No,
Yes.
No.
Yes,
No.
No.
It appears it is a no.
Is that tie?
I thought it was, I thought it
No,
was
I think it's
5.
5-3.
Three?
It's
Oh,
5-3.
It's 5-3, yeah.
Okay, so
I tried to get you a vote in there. I'm sorry.
you did try to get me a vote on the very first time at bat.
you'll get your 10.
Oh, I'm sure I
point.
will. Some point in time. Okay, so the motion fails, but I appreciate you trying to bring it forward, sir.
Thank you.
All right, council reports, continuing. Any other council reports? Or any
Yes.
council reports?
I have something I want to bring up.
Okay,
I went around to Harkin Ryder and they were saying that they need a ramp to go around on the, you stand in front of the building to the right, to the right side of it. Because if they're having something going on inside the building, because they have something going on every day, practically all day. And people would have to come through that meeting or whatever going on if they're gonna go downstairs to do whatever activity that has been scheduled. And so they would like to have a ramp to go around to the side. So it won't disrupt parties. In the bingo room, there's some tables, but they're round tables. They need square tables for the bingo room. And couple of things that was brought up to me were, I think you already discussed that about different shops coming in. And we'll be talking about it at the goal, but there's been a couple of people that have asked about that, and they've asked about the swimming pool. They would like to know what's going on with that and see the swimming pool coming in. I'll try to get around there tomorrow to give out the flyers to, so if anybody wants to come to that, talk about it, Thursday. And also, I would like to, within our budget, because last year I had talked about how cutting maybe a % here or there out for a couple areas, not the TRT, to give more money to Harkin Ryder. I've been told nobody care about the seniors, but I don't believe that. I talked to someone else and they said the same thing, nobody cares. I still don't believe it. I'll never believe somebody cares. And I've often mentioned how even with $5, that's kind of hard on some of the seniors, not all, but some. And if we can give them more money for food or maybe even have a part-time cook and be able to lower the cost of the meals. They do get donations when people come there to exercise for people. They drive food out, wheel of meals to people. And because of that money that comes in, the ones that can't afford to pay it all, they've been able to take some money out, pay of that and pay for their meals. So I'm asking that that be put on the agenda that we can discuss of how we can give finance. I was thinking that maybe like $30,000 a year to Harkin Ryder. They've been managing pretty good over there, and I think the management there is doing a good job. But I would like to see that on our agenda to talk about, discuss.
okay, I'm trying to understand what is it you're wanting on the agenda?
The agenda, the monies to go towards the food and hiring maybe a part-time cook so that the price of the meals could go down from $5.
Okay,
Once again, that's a budget item.
okay.
Well, I think the consideration that we're asking to be made is that when the city's putting together the budget, for those things to be in consideration for the budget planning. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. I
But
got
we can
that.
have a discussion on it.
Okay, so can you make that into a motion that we can vote on?
I'm motioning that we have a discussion on giving extra finance to Harkin Ryder in our next agenda for February, maybe, possibly.
Okay. Okay, got a motion to put this on the agenda. Can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, looks like Councilor McCarthy is a second. Roll call.
Yes. No.
No,
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
And 5-3, it fails. Okay, you guys are bound and set determined to get me to vote today, aren't you? Okay, any other council reports?
I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the voters of this community for putting me up here. And this is my first time on city council, and I'm honored and humbled to be here. And I just want to do my very best for the city that I love. So thank you, voters. I appreciate it.
Excellent. We're very happy to have you here, sir. And I'm glad they made that decision. All right, last chance. Councilor Broom.
Yeah, just a comment. I do look forward to having these conversations when we do have goal setting session. I think a lot of us here see the need and the topics that the two counselors brought up. And so I think we'll have that conversation at the appropriate time. Thank you.
I agree. There's probably going to be a lot of things in the goal setting session that we move forward. So this is going to be a great, I'm hoping we're going to have enough time to do all the stuff that we're looking at having to do. So it could run long. All right. Any other council comments? We don't have any, do we have any youth advisors that want to, you have anything you want to say? Which one would you be?
I'm Eunice. I've been in the youth advisory for about a year now, so it's really exciting to see new people up here because in high school times a year is a really long time, especially when you're a junior and now a senior. So that was really exciting, and I'm really excited for the 28th for the fly up day because I'll be one of the, I think it was 7 people who are going to go up there in the group, and so that's really exciting. I don't know, we don't really meet as a group super often, but we've been doing minutes now, so we log them. So that's been really exciting, and that's kind of it. So,
Would you be opposed to forwarding those minutes to the council?
no, I would not be opposed to it. No.
We would be interested, I'm sure, we would be interested in seeing what you guys are discussing, because sometimes that might help us drive a discussion that you might find important that we may have overlooked. And so that's part of our hope with you folks is to, is your involvement, because sooner or later, you guys are going to be sitting up here and we're going to be the crusty old ones back there complaining.
No.
Well, I will be.
For the notes minutes that we do, it's mostly just who went to the meeting, how long, I think it's how long you stayed, and then just what happened in the meeting. So just for Mr. Davis to see what we've done and how much we paid attention. But I'll talk to him about, because it's just a shared document that we all have. So I'll just talk to him about sharing that document with.
That would be fantastic, because
Lily.
we are, you are our future. And so we're interested very much so. That's part of the reason why the program was installed, is so that we can get you guys involved and excited about moving issues that you find important. So, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to throw at us?
No.
Okay. Well, appreciate it.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Yep.
City manager.
We've already talked about the city chat. I just wanted to remind everybody about that. So I have nothing else.
All right. With nothing else, we will adjourn the city council meeting and convene the Urban Renewal Agency meeting. We call this to order with new business. The HURA facade grant for Club 24 Orion Fianders 4N2 2811CC, tax lot 2600 at 555 South Highway 395. City Manager Smith.
Mr. Spencer.
Thank you. I just want to do just a little bit of table setting because we have 3 new counselors tonight and kind of just explain what we're doing here. We just adjourned your city council meeting and we now reconvened as the Urban Renewal Agency. There are 2 separate bodies which you are a part of. So imagine taking your high-vis vest off as a city councilor and you're no longer a city councilor. You're now putting on a different high-vis vest that says you're working as the advisory board of directors for our Urban Renewal Agency. And our Urban Renewal Agency has 3 areas that are set up in town. The downtown area, which is promoting redevelopment of the downtown. The North Urban Renewal area, which is focusing on commercial development on Highway 395 between Elm and Theater Lane, and then the Southwest Hermiston Urban Renewal area, which is focusing on residential development on the former C&B livestock area. Each of those areas is focusing on different projects. Tonight, we're here to look at our downtown area, which has done several projects over the years, the Festival Street, the realignment of Southeast 2nd Street and 395. Those are some of the big public works projects that we've done. And we've also been funding facade grants for private investment in businesses since the district formed in 2013, sorry. Hotel being a big one, Human Being being the most recent one, where we're providing these urban renewal funds to encourage beautification and redevelopment. Tonight, you're looking at a facade grant for reuse of the former Tom Denchel, former Rorman Ford place, depending on how long you've been here. It's been a Ford dealer for a very long time. And Club 24 has acquired the property and is relocating out of the Hermiston Plaza and into that site. And they're submitting a facade grant request because they are doing new windows on the whole site. They are doing a 6,000 square foot addition on the south side to create additional free weight gym area and several other landscape improvements and general facade improvements. The overall budget for this is $150,000. The Planning Commission went to review this and recommended a 50% match. In this case, our 50% matches top out at $20,000. However, by policy of the Urban Renewal Board, anytime there's an investment in excess of $75,000, there is the ability to go above that $20,000 cap on the match. This being a $150,000 investment, and the fact that the city, as part of the development, is requiring improvement to Southeast 3rd Street. You know that's gravel as soon as you get to the end of the community center, and we're requiring curb gutter, sidewalk, and paving. That's quite a public benefit as well as quite an expense. So the Planning Commission in their scoring recommended that you go above the $20,000 match to a $30,000 match.
Okay, before I go any further, is there anything that we have to do separate since we're now the HRA? We didn't have to swear at anybody or anything like that, just making sure. Okay. Are there any members that have comment regarding this issue? Yes, sir.
I would think it would be useful both for existing and new new members, if we could just quickly summarize what area of Hermiston does the HURA represent that
Sure.
this grant applies to.
If you try to envision our downtown area, essentially it would be Gladys and Hermiston Avenue on the north end, extending south all the way to Highland Avenue. So that area that's Highland to Gladys is a box. And then from 4th Street to First Place over on the other side. So that's what we consider our core downtown area.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Brown.
Mr. Spencer, so I hear the recommendation of going above for 30. I just want to also know more or less, we've gone above for other projects in the past, like you've mentioned before. I guess what are the reserves look like for our hero right now. And I guess this is probably one of the biggest projects that have come from an individual business. So
The only bigger one would have been the hotel. That was a $6 million investment. So yes, this is a large one. We actually don't maintain a reserve. When the end of the fiscal year, we will reallocate the unexpended funds to other projects. So the unexpended funds went into the Southeast Second Street project for this year.
that's right.
You have a $60,000 total facade grant budget, and this would expend half of it at 30,000.
Thank you for the clarification. Appreciate it.
And once that 60,000 is gone, that's it
Yes, for the year.
for the year. Okay. Councilor Robert, or Member Roberts.
Do we have any other applicants in waiting?
In waiting, yes, we are expecting that we will see the Cozy submit a facade grant application with their fire restoration. They have not yet, but we have been in conversations with them.
Do we know if we're going to have enough extra funds in place? If we're spending half of this on this one project, are we going to be able to accommodate others this year?
I believe so.
Okay.
At least one more, the 20,000 mark.
Any others? Got to give everybody else a chance first. Anybody else? Mr. Ron.
So besides the Cozy, will there be any other business
Within,
that will be making a request? for
that's
a
the only
facade?
one that we're talking to right now. But, sometimes people just come in, and so it's not always, you have 5 months left in the fiscal year. So I can't say for certain there won't be anybody else, but we're only in conversation with one right now.
Great, thank you.
You already answered my question. I was wondering if it was the fiscal year, and so I also appreciate Mr. Roberts' question because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there's usually maybe 2 to 3 that apply a year
Mhm.
for the facade. In recent years, it hasn't been as much as when it originally started.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you.
All right.
I think Garfy had something. Did you have a question?
No.
I have a motion then.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's get any public comment in regards to this? All right. Seeing none, I will accept a motion to approve the grant for the exterior improvement to 555 South Highway 395 in the amount of 30,000 or as modified by motion.
I motion that we grant the Club 24 from the 20 to the 30 as recommended by Mr. Smith or Mr. Spencer.
Second.
Okay, been motioned by Mr. Barone and seconded by Mr. Roberts that we award the amount of $30,000. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes,
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 7-1 with 1 no by Councilor Linton. And do we have any other Urban Renewal Agency business? We are adjourned.